Yeah. So how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, Tar. It's very kind of you to take the time out to come and chat with us. It's amazing. Do you mind if we just go back over the history of Mark King just a little bit?
Oh, not at all, no. Far away.
So I understand that you were born on the Isle of Wight and your dad was a farmer, is that right?
Well, nearly. I was born on the Isle of Wight and still live there, actually. I was born on the Isle of Wight in just outside Cowes, which is famous for its yachting things. My dad was a prison officer, actually. So I grew up on the prison estate. The island has 3 prisons. There's Arthurst, which is sort of famous for the Craig twins and all of that.
Yeah.
Albany Prison and Camp Prison. So I grew up there. It was a nice place to grow up. You know, you get lots of kids coming in from all over the country. You know, as sort of miners were being made unemployed, they joined the prison service. So it was a very good sort of melting pot and a good social grounding, really.
Okay, then. Your dad bought you your first drum kit for a tenner, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. When I was 9 years old, I left junior school one afternoon and I'd heard some lads talking that there was a drum kit for sale in a house with a threepenny-bit window in St John's Road at the back of Newport, which is the sort of main town on the Isle of Wight. But it would be, I suppose, a good 15 miles from the school. So I just sort of wandered around. I would have been 9 years old, and I wandered off to find this place and knocked the door, and this little old lady opened up and sure enough showed me this drum kit. And by the time I got home, it must have been sort of way past 6 o'clock, and my mum and dad went bananas. Saying, you know, where the hell have you been? And I said to Dad, well, I've been to have a look at the drum kit. You know, there's a drum kit for sale. And he said, right, come on, hop in the car, let's go and have a look. I think he was just sort of checking out that I was telling the truth, really. We went all the way there, back there again, and it was great. My dad bought me the drum kit, and that sort of started me off, really.
Now, I've been told there's 2 stories as to why you gave up the drums and took up playing bass. One is because the music shop you were working in didn't sell drums, and the other one was that you thought Phil was a better drummer.
Well, Phil's a fantastic drummer, there's no doubt about that. But I've always secretly thought I was a better drummer, actually. So I can't go along with that one. But it was more down to the fact that Phil was a crap bass player. So that's probably more like it.
Now, the one thing that everybody knows you for in Level 42 for is that fantastic bass style. Really taken from a lot of, I guess, the American jazz bassists who were around a little bit before Level 42. How on earth did you pick up on that style of bass playing?
Well, the guys, I mean, we were just sort of talking about my sort of real love was drums, and certainly even when we were sort of started in Level 42 and I was playing bass in the band, I only ever thought that it was kind of a stopover until, you know, my ship came in and I ended up playing drums in some fantastic band somewhere. And when I was working in Macari's, the music shop, they didn't sell drums, so I was sort of given the job of being the bass technician, which was a rather glamorous name for the idiot in the shop who couldn't really play anything. And you know, my heroes were the drummers, and the fantastic drummers like Billy Cobham and Lenny White and Tony Williams from the American fusion scene that had all come out of the Miles Davis sort of 68 to 71, 72. And the bands that came from that, things like the Mahavishnu Orchestra and Return to Forever. And what, of course, all of these bands feature were phenomenal instrumentalists right throughout the band, but the rhythm sections were amazing, and the bass players, particularly in Return to Forever, there was a guy called Stanley Clark, who was just a phenomenon, really. That I remember the first time I saw him in 1974, it was just jaw-droppingly good. And Stan had a couple of solo albums, and one of them featured a track called Lopsy Lou, which he played this black bass on, and it was just an amazing track, and you only got to hear that as a sort of young aspiring player suddenly, you know, grab it with both hands and think, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to sort of pick up and run with this. And because I wasn't that precious about the bass anyway, it didn't occur to me that, well, you know, you're supposed to learn all your rudiments and your scales and your arpeggios first and stuff. So I just sort of picked the thing up and started drumming on it, you know, and beating 7 bells out of it. And it was very fortunate that at that time, the sort of British music scene had moved away from the punk thing, and we were getting into the couple of underground movements, one not so underground, and that was the new romantic thing happening. So you had all your bands like Spandau and Visage and Ultravox, etc., etc. coming through, but there was another underground movement, which was featuring more about the sort of musicianship, if you like, I suppose, a more of an American way of playing, was the Brit Funk movement, and we were able to jump on board with that, and they were really up for hearing sort of bass the way that I wanted to play it.